And now, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Welcome to another weekend. It is the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show. Along with Blake Sloan, I'm your host, Dave Priest. A lot of great information to get to today, and a lot of stuff going on in the world of real estate. And I'll be giving you some phone numbers and some contact information throughout the course of the show, so in case there's something you do need to get some information on, we'll be happy to pass that info along to you. If you want to go ahead and write it down now, that'd be good and very smart on your part. BlakeSloanRadio.com is the address. You can also go to ask@BlakeSloanRadio.com for the email. And if you'd like to call, 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD is the phone number to talk to Blake Sloan. But if you want to listen to Blake Sloan, we can do that right now. Blake, welcome to the show.
Good morning. Glad to be here.
Now, we got a lot of stuff to cover in this week's show, so what are some of the high points that we're looking at?
Yeah, we got some great stuff for both buyers and sellers in the marketplace now. We're going to talk about power negotiation for home sellers, and also how to create maximum leverage when you're actually selling your home. And we're going to recap some of the major news we had in the real estate world that we broke last week and also happened between last week and the week before. And we're also going to give some updates on mortgage rates and also give an outlook for 2013, where there's a lot of some uncertainty in certain areas and some positive stuff in others. And we're going to kind of, sift through that and kind of say, exactly what are we looking at for 2013 and what are we looking at here locally in our marketplace as well. And of course, we have some great deals, smoking hot deals for anyone out there. We got a ton of new actual properties and one actually on the ocean that's a steal. And we'll tell you guys about that at the end of the show.
Well, the end of the show is always a treat because you always come up with some sort of just really great deal. So stick around for that in about 30 minutes. But between now and then, you got a lot of great information. If you're a new listener to the show, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan, let me give you a little bit of a quick intro. Blake's been doing this and been doing it really well. He's been dubbed the Real Estate Whiz Kid, been featured in Forbes, Wall Street Journal, NBC, Realtor Magazine. You've heard him endorsed here on the radio station by Glenn Beck and Sean Hannity. And all those things, just great accomplishments. Put them all together, it's just, well, it's almost unprecedented. And last week we learned a little bit about how your team work. You've got this this great system together, and how a good portion of your success has come from this trademark system that you've developed for both buyers and sellers here in the market. If somebody's new to the show, could you give us a quick little recap of what's going on?
Absolutely, and just kind of reiterate again, there's the one thing that's the single most important variable that determines your success or failure as a home buyer and also a home seller in today's marketplace, here locally, no matter where you're at. 100% hands down, that single variable is going to be the agent that you choose. And most people everybody think that agents are just a commodity, they're pretty much all the same, they do the same thing, and that couldn't be further from the truth. That's just like saying a doctor, they're all the same and things like that, where it's 100% not. And with that, what we developed is, I've flown all over the country, been in every possible coaching group and studied other industries, things like that. But we developed proven systems that manage the 100+ variables, both in the home buying process and also the home selling process, from start to finish, and maximize every single point of leverage through both of those. But for home sellers, we have what we call the guaranteed sold system. And it's a proven system. We sell homes faster and for 21% more money than the average traditional methods. And for home buyers, we have what we call the Unfair Advantage home buying program, where buyers can get access to the hottest new deals. They get them before most real estate agents even know about them. But we also give them access to the best financing, a lot of different things all the way through the entire process, but make sure we're able to maximize leverage to that. Each of these systems are proven, and they're engineered to give you maximum leverage at every single one of the 100+ variables through the entire process. And actually today I'm going to actually show you guys about it, and we'll kind of go through that guaranteed sold system a little bit as well.
All right, a lot of good stuff coming up on the show today. Coming up in just a minute, we'll look at some of the specific statistics, which is not really easy to say, but we'll get all the stats for you in just a minute as far as the real estate market is concerned, and we'll give you a housing report and all that kind of stuff. That's all coming up next during the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. Remember, if you'd like to get in touch with Blake, go to the website, BlakeSloanRadio.com. Ask@BlakeSloanRadio.com is the email address, and you could also call, as always, at 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. So what does it take to sell your home fast and for the most money in Myrtle Beach? Blake Sloan's Sloan Realty Group has a system for attracting buyers that's so effective, he can guarantee to sell your home at a price and deadline that you agree to, or he'll have it bought with cash. Now, how can he do this? It's simple. Now, the average realtor in Myrtle Beach sells less than 10 homes a year and attracts a handful of buyers a month. Blake Sloan spends thousands of dollars and attracts hundreds of buyers every month, which creates demand for his homes and helps them sell within weeks, not months, and for top dollar. Now, you risk nothing, since if at any point you're not happy, Blake Sloan will Open lets you fire him and you pay nothing. A phone call is easy. Not knowing your options or getting bad advice, well, that can cost a small fortune. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or get a free home evaluation at blakesguarantee.com. That website again, blakesguarantee.com.
Welcome back to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. I'm your host, Dave Priest. A lot of great information to get through the next 30 minutes on this show, and real estate a lot has to do with numbers. You want all the numbers to be in your favor, and that's why we always give you a weekly market statistic update. And Blake, I know you got your finger on the pulse of all the latest numbers. What does it look like?
Absolutely. We haven't got November's numbers yet. We're hoping to get those this next week, the first of that, so we'll definitely have those for next week. But there's a lot of different significant news, around especially the fiscal cliff, things like that. One of the biggest concerns is the fact that the mortgage interest deduction is obviously being thrown into negotiations. So that's a lot of concern for a lot of people, but there's also a lot of great stuff as well. But just kind of concerns of that. We also have some stuff on our website about it, but there's one or two things really can happen. The fiscal cliff can, basically get handled correctly, I guess you say, and to get resolved, and that means our market's going to come back and
Right.
kind of get more steady. The other option of that is, hey, it's not going to happen. Our economy turns back to a recession, which is going to mean the market's going to be down, obviously, with that. The one thing that a lot of people are concerned about, too, is a lot of more action, I guess you say, from the CFPB, which is that Consumer Protection Board, and they're putting a lot of limitations and regulation that's kind of redundant, I guess you say, in regards to the mortgage industry. And there's been a lot of people kind of pushing back against that because, it is being able to correct itself, things like that. But there's a few different things there that people are kind of watching and learning. But overall, everybody, all the analysts and stuff are saying, we're probably going to see single-digit growth 2013. Hopefully, some areas are going to do better than others, and we'll be able to kind of put all that stuff together as well. A little more also on some stuff from last week that we talked about was the first-time homebuyer tax credit here in South Carolina. It's huge news that we're still seeing that not a whole lot of people are finding out about or getting more information in. But in case you missed it, we have a whole detailed report again on our website as well. But it's from the South Carolina Department of Housing. But wait, what is it? It's a mortgage tax credit. Basically, it's any first-time home buyers that are in our counties or in Georgetown counties. There's a whole list. There's some that they call targeted and non-targeted. Non-targeted means they don't have that yet. They may or may not do it in the future. But luckily, we're in that situation where, as a home buyer, if you purchase, you can basically save $2,000 per year that you get as a tax credit. So you get 30% of your mortgage interest in that year. That can be up to $2,000. So the great thing, the difference there is it's not a deduction like typically the mortgage interest has been previously. This is a straight out credit. So there's a lot more powerful, a lot better. But just to give an example, let's say someone buys, let's say they have a mortgage of $150,000. Let's say roughly interest rate 4%. The interest first year they're like $6,000, and that's going to reduce their liability taxes by basically by $1,800. That's a huge thing that you're literally getting. If you break that down, it's about $150 a month. But the greatest thing here, the difference between previous tax credits, is that it's going to be for the entire life of the loan. So before it was just one-time $8,000 tax credit. Here you get that the entire life of the loan, which is a huge benefit, especially like we talked about with first-time home buyers. With interest rates being so low and things like that, you can literally own something for less than you're paying per rent. But now one more extra incentive added to it, where you can get up to $2,000 per year of tax credit, and that's an awesome thing. Especially compared to a simple deduction or something like that. And one more thing too, we also noted last week that there's been massive gains in regards to luxury home sales. We also noted a report from National Association of Realtors and Wall Street Journal, but we have a little more info on that, where now we kind of got some data broken down by, I guess, geographically through north, south, Midwest, Northeast.
Right.
But the whole average in regards to home sales over $1 million from October this year compared to October last year, as a whole, those sales are up 44.1%. So that's huge in regards to that amount of high-end homes, because those were typically what's taking the longest and not selling because there wasn't so much access to funding. But in the South here in our area, we've seen a 25.1% increase year over year in homes over $1 million. So that's a massive opportunity for anybody in that luxury field that needs to get their home sold. Again, go to the website. We have a whole thing broken down for luxury home sellers, also buyers. But here also, part of this is jumbo mortgages, right, which is anything really basically over $400,000 around here. but the increase in those are 28% of the loans over 1 million and above, compared to the growth of 8.5% of loans under $1 million. So you see a huge, it's what 3 or 4 times larger in regards to those loans that are given there from before. But the hands down number one reason is finally the banks and lenders are loosening up a little bit on the reins. They're kind of letting a little more of that out to let those mortgages get done, because before there are people that could easily qualify, they're well qualified, but they just put so many restrictions there for some of those high-end buyers. It's a little more difficult, but now it's kind of equaling out. We've seen a huge growth in there, so it's a great opportunity for anyone in the luxury home area, anytime in regards to that, where now people are jumping on that, they're seeing the opportunity. So give us a call. We can certainly get you more data specific to your price range in your area as well.
808-SOLD is that phone number if you'd like to talk to Blake Sloan from the Sloan Realty Group. You were talking about interest rates just a second ago in between the luxury home sales and everything else. Interest rates change, I know. Where are they this week?
We're actually kind of staying right around where we were. I just pulled some numbers here locally. Good example here, 30-year fixed rate, 3.375%. 15-year fixed, you're at 2.75. We also have a few opportunities there where it can be a little lower depending on situation, and we get you more info on that, but we're kind of still staying around there. And just to kind of piggyback on what we saw before, and one of the bigger reasons that people are taking advantage of these, loans and the jumbo mortgages being available, there's so much more buying power now. And that's kind of a big thing where the low mortgage rates now are kind of make it more difficult in the future for people to move up to a larger home based on situation, because the low interest rates create a massive amount of buying power. And it's kind of that same example we talked about before, where let's just kind of run some numbers just so everybody can kind of see the reality of it, because it's really shocking if you kind of look at it. But recent mortgage rates been out 3.5%. Let's say someone has a 30-year fixed mortgage of $200,000. Your mortgage payment there would be about $898. And let's say somebody buys a house, a young couple, let's say they buy a $250,000 house, put 20% down, and they finance the remainder, right? That's that same exact example there, payment $898. Let's say a few years later they have kids, they've grown in their careers, and they've had a family, need some larger space, you want to move up. Well, now let's say they can afford 20% more per month. Let's say now comfortably they can afford a payment of $1,078. How much house can they buy with a 20% higher payment each month? Well, if the interest rates just jumped up 1% over that period, their monthly payments are 20% more, right? They can only buy a house at 6% more. And so just to break that down, let's say that loan just a second ago was $200,000. Right. Let's say interest rates only jump up 1%, and now they can afford 20% more per month. They could only get a mortgage really of $12,000 more, but they're paying a 20% higher payment. And that's just kind of scary to see the difference there. So what's happening, there's so much opportunity for anybody that can move up. Even let's say that they're not going to make money, or even maybe losing a little bit of money on their current residence, they're able to get rid of that, get into a better opportunity. Like we mentioned, those other reasons to buy before spring and things like that, where you obviously always want to buy low and sell high. Here's a great combination where one, most are saying it's scraping bottom, but two, the interest rates are at an all-time low for now, and obviously they're projected to go up at 1% next year. We gave that report last week where the Mortgage Bankers Association said we're looking at least 1 point increase next year. So huge information there, but that's one of the biggest reasons we've seen the increase there, and a great opportunity for anyone looking to get in a house because interest rates being so low.
Well, it's a lot of scary numbers, and that's why you need somebody who knows all that stuff, and that's why you need to talk to Blake Sloan at the Sloan Realty Group. 808-SOLD, 808-SOLD. You can also go to the website, blakesloanradio.com. Coming up in just a second as the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show continues, we're going to find out about the remainder of the power principles from the Guaranteed Sold system. We've teased you throughout the last couple of weeks. We'll be finishing that up here today, and that's all coming up in just a second here as we continue with the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hello, Myrtle Beach. It's Glenn Beck. And if you need to sell your property, you don't have to experience all the headaches and long.
When we get out of this, it's probably going to be at about 15 and a half minutes, so we're about halfway through.
Okay, I think we're good with that.
A Sloan Realty Group that guarantees to sell your property at a price and a deadline that you agree to, or Blake is going to pull out his checkbook and buy it himself. The Wall Street Journal ranks Blake among the top 100 real estate agents in North America. And I personally met Blake, and I can tell you that his national marketing program is unparalleled. Most agents in Myrtle Beach, they stick a sign in your yard, maybe a few balloons, and they hope the buyer finds you. But Blake spends tens of thousands of dollars attracting buyers from all over the world to come to Myrtle Beach. That helps his properties sell fast and for top dollar. Blake even gives you the option to get out of your contract at any point if you're not happy with his level of service, but you never will. He's the real estate agent I wish I could have called, Blake Sloan. Call him now That's 808-SOLD, or visit Blake's website and see his interview on NBC. That's Blake'sGuarantee.com. Or listen to Blake's Real Estate Show every Saturday morning at 8 or Sunday morning at 9.
Welcome back to the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan. I'm your host, Dave Priest, on Hot Talk 99.5 WRNN. And Blake, last week we were covering some breaking news because of what was happening in the real estate. But before that, we had gone through some of the initial power principles you have with your guaranteed sold system. Because basically, if you haven't heard some of the stats, about 50% of homes put on the market fail to sell. And that's why, with your guaranteed sold system, it's so important that you get involved with you here. Now, you've kind of gone through it a little bit, and we haven't had a chance to finish it out first. So why don't we go ahead and find out where we are right now, and let's try to finish this thing up.
Absolutely, yeah. As we talked about, there's 100 plus variables to the entire process. And what we did is we literally reverse engineered every single possible one to make sure that we can practically manage each one through the entire process. And as we mentioned previous in other shows too, all those stacked upon each other over and over and over create a massive amount of leverage on the back. And we literally, number by number, are able to take it up to 21% more and also 2 or 3 times faster. And that's kind of the whole thing. But we broke them down into 7 power principles where they kind of are really in each stage and each aspect of it. But just to give you a quick recap, the first one is the Expert Advantage Strategic Analysis. And that's where any property that's put on the market without clearly defining a strategy or based on a situational analysis, is the desired outcome is basically destined for failure. And the second one is the Expert Advantage Power Positioning, where superior positioning in the marketplace is the key point of leverage in getting your home sold fast and for the most amount of money. The third is the Expert Advantage Massive Marketing Exposure, where exposure to the marketplace is the single most important leverage point for maximizing demand for your property. And that's what actually our system does, and that's how we create more by actually creating that demand. There's also the Expert Advantage Buyers in Waiting, where matching your property to one of our ready and waiting buyers further increases demand for your property and have it sold as little as 1 week. We even have full-time professional house buyers and actual funds, groups, things like that are actually buying, scooping up things fairly quickly. And what we always try to do is we want to tiptoe that line to balance how much money we can get you for it, obviously get more, and also how fast you get it sold. The other part we're going to cover today is Expert Advantage Power Negotiation. And hopefully we're going to get to Expert Advantage Leverage. And then if we have time, we'll get to the 7th, which is Expert Advantage Expertise. Last week we went in detail, obviously, on 3 and 4. But what we're kind of looking at here, Expert Advantage Power Negotiating, and the fact that 95% of agents cost their clients thousands of dollars of their hard-earned equity by not having a proven, proactive system for negotiation. And that's something that most people don't really realize. And even if you have an agent now, you're thinking about interviewing somebody, ask them, say, exactly what proven step-by-step plan do you have to practically help us in that process. And part of ours, one of these here, we have what we call our plan to win negotiation strategy. And most people don't realize that 80% plus of the negotiation leverage is acquired before the initial offer ever comes in. And most of that leverage is acquired through positioning the house right in the marketplace to receive higher offers. We're able to also practically eliminate any surprises that come up. And we're also able to practically eliminate a lot of common pitfalls and things like that that most people are able to run into. So that's something that's kind of a huge thing that most people don't really have that plan, and we're actually setting ourselves up planning to win through that entire process. And we'll cover one of those too is how you price your house in the market, where most people, if they try it, we actually have stats that we just posted last week that are huge, and it's from a study that was at Florida International University from their business school there. And before, as always, people were asking, what's the difference if we tested high and then reduce the price, things like that. But the study basically says that the findings of the research indicate that on average, properties that experience a listing price change take longer to sell and suffer a greater price discount than similar properties. Furthermore, the bigger price changes are found to experience even longer marketing times and greater price discounts. So, long story short, when buyers see your property just get decreased and dropped and drops and dropped, they think one or two things. One, what's wrong with this property, right? Two, we can just wait and see. They're going to keep going down, 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 and that kind of hinders that. So that's why it's very important to position yourself to win. We do that through the entire process. And part of that, making sure that it is priced right, priced correctly, is the other part, is our Expert Advantage Superior Knowledge. And we have a kind of a formula that we it's kind of a joke at the same time. It's called D plus K plus E equals RAA. And what that means is basically the data plus the knowledge, plus the experience allows us as reps in the seller to rip the average agent apart. And just part of that is why myself and everyone on our team are all certified real estate experts, and they've been through the most advanced training in the industry. And we train every single week, all the time. Like I said, I subscribe to pretty much every single data source possible for both the macro and the micro markets here. And through the entire team, we have a 10-to-1 negotiation experience over the average agent. And that's huge in regards to how we're able to do that.
Now you're talking about training, you're talking about ripping somebody apart, you're talking about all this stuff. It sounds like it's a rough business out there, but it kind of is, because I was reading through some of the stuff over your shoulder when you were taking some notes earlier, and I saw a word on there that I had to ask you about, and I want to ask you about it now. Ninjagation. What is ninjagation?
Yeah, that's something that we definitely came up with, and it's a combination. But it really, like you said, business. I mean, business is business, right? It's people's largest asset. It's important for whoever's representing them to really protect them, make sure they get the maximum representation, especially by someone who's an expert. But the whole ninjagation thing is part of that, because there's so much leverage that can be done through doing that correctly. And it's basically use of psychological rules to get more deals worked out and to keep them together. There's a few different things where we're able to give them something to get back. We're obviously able to also give value that's not tangible sometimes to make sure we're doing that. But the biggest thing here that you can really, I guess, take a look at and see is that all emotion is left off the table with us versus the average agent who, like we talked about before, the stats here, they sell about 4 homes a year. Right, so that means somebody selling 4 houses a year. That's pretty commission hungry in regards to what that means. And we've done the numbers before, but they're selling 3 or 4 houses a year. They're not looking at a very high net, so they're trying to do anything and everything to throw their seller under the bus to get the deal done. Right, and one of the biggest things I guess we see with that, when they're just doing anything and everything, you call it commission breath, whatever you do. They're just throwing anybody in the bus because they just want a deal. Right, so that violates the most powerful point of leverage in negotiation. And I'm not sure you guys out there know what that is, or Dave, do you know what the number one most powerful variable in negotiation is?
I'm a horrible negotiator. You shouldn't ask me about that.
And take a guess at all or anything?
I don't know. Just tell me.
The number one most powerful variable in negotiation is the ability to walk away. And that's something that's true in all business and everything. And obviously we don't just walk away. Doesn't mean we're going to walk away. But we're able to leave emotion off the table through the process, because you know what? We have enough business. We've already positioned ourselves. We've done everything up to that point correctly, and we've already done the things that basically the 80% of leverage before the offer. Now we're able to make sure that we do that. We can use numbers to win and position ourselves to do so. And that's kind of a huge example when we're creating that much leverage there.
All right. Well, that's power principle number 5, power negotiation, expert advantage power principle. We got time. Let's go off to number 6 here. What is that? It's called expert advantage leverage. How does that work? What's that all about?
Yeah, this is kind of like we talked about when you're stacking all these up. But every single poorly or mismanaged variable in the process is literally taking thousands or tens of thousands of dollars out of your wallet in regards to being a home seller. And the expert advantage, first part of that's expert advantage, exponential leverage. And success is in the details. We covered that before, right? People think that a college team, football team's all the same. Well, not exactly, right? Take Alabama versus even some school we mentioned before, Tennessee. Same exact game, same exact age group, people, equipment, everything, but the success is in the details. And that's the same difference here, where we're executing at every single level, every single point, and we're able to make sure that we do that. We have the most advanced marketing and operation systems in the industry, period. We run like a real business. We don't just run like a, trying to spin on the plates, 1 or 2 people. That's obviously why we're set up as a team. But we have a written process for every single variable to make sure that we can manage these practically through the entire process. We have real-time market data broken down by zip code, by neighborhood, all that, so we can see where we're at and really measure in real time like a real business does. We have real-time feedback and positioning data. We're able to get back from anyone that sees the house, both buyers that look in there, also agents who are showing it, because we're also marketing to other agents out there as well, on top of the hundreds of buyers that we get each and every month in regards to our marketing. And we have very powerful buyer conversion, because we're able to service them very good as well, and also have buyer experts who are specific to helping those buyers. And we have advanced tracking systems. We know exactly what the best sources for buyers coming in are. And guess what? Once we're able to do that, we just turn the knobs and increase that to make sure we can maximize demand for each and every one of our properties. But we have real-time return on investments, key performance indicators, and metrics. Think of the example of being like a McDonald's versus a Bubba's Barbecue, right? It's kind of a simple example there, but in McDonald's, everything's ran the same way every single time. It's a proven system, and that's exactly what we're doing here in the world of real estate. And the last part of that there, we have the most advanced technology in the industry. We've invested so much, literally tens and tens of thousands of dollars in different technologies that we have Some of those are each month. But we have interactive websites. We have 100+ different websites. Some are branded, some unbranded that we talked about. But we want to make sure we're using advanced technology to get buyers and sellers together and be able to have the best experience. We use professional photo and video equipment. We talked about that before. I mean, literally, I could probably film the housewives if we needed to. We literally got every kind of professional video equipment. We have our own studio and stuff. We're able to showcase these houses as they should be because people are searching online, things like that. We have aerial video and photo capabilities. We have literally a quadcopter that a camera strapped to it.
That's very cool.
It's really neat, man. That's like my favorite thing. 'Cause I'm like a gadget guy, but we're able to fly around. We put goggles on, and you can fly around from first FPVs, what we call it. But it's awesome, man. It's really cool, but it creates such a more powerful effect when people look at these houses online. And what we do, we just differentiate, right? We're able to give them high definition video, go through the process there. So here's kind of the difference in regards to, we also have professional designers and software, but the difference is the value and the resources, right? We're able to make a significant financial and capital commitment to you guys. We have a business plan for each and every listing, and that allows us to risk more on your behalf. If you're interviewing an agent, ask them, how much are you going to risk of your own money to get my house sold? And that's a number we can do that because our statistics are so specific. I know we can invest, $10 to get 100. It's a simple question. Okay, if I'm going to give you a $100 bill for every $10 bill you give me, you would do it as a home seller. Or same thing. We do the same thing because we know those numbers. We have international relationships with all kind of different real estate companies, top agents across the world. And if you look at these all added up together, if we can get a 2 or 3 times increase in every single variable, you put all those together, that's how you get 20% more. That's how our property sells so much faster, and that's how we outperform pretty much 99% of the agents in the entire world.
All right, tell you what, we're going to take a very, very quick break here right now. Be right back. If you've got any questions about Blake Sloan with the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show, always give him a call at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. So
Where we at? We're short, right?
We're running a little bit long here.
Cool.
When we come back, we're really only going to have about a minute or so real quick.
Perfect. Run into the deal side. That's fine.
So, yeah.
Just let them know we'll cover leverage next. We'll cover expertise next week. And then we'll just do the deal.
Now, the average realtor in Myrtle Beach sells less than 10 homes a year and attracts a handful of buyers a month. Blake Sloan spends thousands of dollars and attracts hundreds of buyers every month, which creates demand for his homes and helps them sell within weeks, not months, and for top dollar. Now, you risk nothing since if at any point you're not happy, Blake Sloan, well, he lets you fire him and you pay nothing. Now, the phone call is easy. Not knowing your options or getting bad advice, well, that can cost a small fortune. Call Blake Sloan today at 808-SOLD. That's 808-SOLD. Or get a free home evaluation at blakesguarantee.com. That website again, blakesguarantee.com.
Blake, literally, we only have about a minute and a half here. Now, power principle number 7, we're going to have to cover that next week on the show because we couldn't get that to today. But something we can get today, and we always do at the end of the show, the hot deal of the day. What's all out there?
Absolutely. We got this week's deal. We literally just got it yesterday. We just got an oceanfront foreclosure deal. They sold for over $2 million before, but it's in perfect shape. Most people think that they're torn up. This one just came off the rental program. Everything's still there, but it's around the ocean. We don't have a price yet, but we will very soon. We're one of the top foreclosure brokerages in the area. We have tons and tons of properties in every area, every price range that aren't on the market yet. So if you want to be a VIP customer base to get on our list, we'll get you access to the price the minute it comes in the market. Get you a huge advantage there. Then call us 808-SOLD. We'll get you set up no matter what your criteria is. Or then go to Blake Sloan Radio. There's a link you click, and we'll get you access to all the deals we got. We got literally about 50 right now we're waiting on prices for.
And next week we're going to be getting back together same time, and we're going to finish up the power principles with the last of that, and we'll go over all the information you need to know. If you want to know how to sell your home faster for up to 21% more, you can do that by listening to Blake Sloan Radio Show, the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan every weekend here on Hot Talk 99.5. Again, call 808-SOLD or go online to BlakeSloanRadio.com. We'll see you again next week, Blake.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right, you have yourself a great weekend. It's the Expert Advantage Real Estate Show with Blake Sloan.
Hello, Myrtle Beach. It's Glenn Beck.